Hey there, all my PopCon peeps. Magic Man Rusty here, and welcome to this live streaming episode of the Magnificent Seven. To celebrate PopCon Indy's 7th anniversary, we like to spend roughly 7 minutes. I think this is probably going to be longer, with members of our PopCon family. Joining us in the PopCon corral tonight, a man who's been in more movies than John Williams music. I'm your host, Rusty Ammerman, and our Magnificent Seven with the loquacious Peter Spellos begins right now. Look up that word, kids. How you doing, Peter?
Hey, Rusty, how's it going? Two old guys in radio. This is fantastic.
Now we're going to take caller number 7 right now. We're going to be giving away an album pack. Hi,
hey, no more hits. All right.
So I hope at some point we do a behind-the-scenes thing. Peter and we've never met. I don't know how
this is it.
The next live event we are definitely going to meet.
Absolutely.
And I'm afraid that we're going to be the two guys left when they close the bar. That's what's going to be.
No two ways about it. All right, another Little Richard song. Go ahead, just put it out there.
Just one more song. Put on Inagata Davida.
Kids, look that up, kids. Look that up, please, kids.
Yeah, for you kids that don't know about radio, Inagata Davida was a song by Iron Butterfly, right? And it was about 20 minutes long, roughly.
My first concert was Canned Heat and Mountain at the Fillmore West. And we were so, shall we say, there, that when Canned Heat did the first set, I turned to my buddy and said, those guys were great. I can't wait till Canned Heat gets out.
I've never heard of this band, but in the radio industry, back kids in the day when we actually dropped needles on the record, and things weren't even CD. I mean, certainly now they're all in computer. You don't even have to be there now, but you had to like babysit every piece of equipment. There were several long songs. Alice's Restaurant, help me out here.
Right, Thanksgiving. And I got
Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. These we call GTS songs. Go take a bathroom break. If you needed to run to the restroom and, make, as they say in the Goldbergs, you would put on Inagata Davida and you had 18 solid minutes. Am I wrong, Peter?
You're absolutely right, but we weren't even live doing the comedy. We were recording it. So all our stuff, now boys and girls, you're going to have to look this up, was on carts. So they look like 8-tracks. So everything we did was recorded on reel-to-reels. We did it in the production studio, right next to the recording studio, and then they put it on a cart. I mean, I'm still in touch with Pat St. John, who does 6 on 60s on Sirius Radio. He was one of the jocks on PLJ back in the day. Yeah. It was 2 years for me doing comedy. I was 26 in New York City, and a job cutting roast beef in the evening. And here I was signing autographs, doing Pistol Pete was making personal appearances at WPLJ. Somewhere there's a picture. I'll have to send it to you, Rusty. It's frightening.
And I don't want to get too esoteric here, but radio at one point was a very interesting. In my opinion, it has kind of sold. It's kind of lost its soul. It's lost who it is. I don't think it's unique. But
I agree.
It was spontaneous, and it was anything could go. And people would listen in just to hear what was going to happen because it was spontaneous.
And FM in the 70s when I grew up, it was the birth of that. Alison Steele, the Nightbird, and she'd come on at 10 o'clock and she'd ramble for like 15 minutes. And, perhaps if you were imbibing in, cookies that evening, then, you'd just go, wow, I don't know what she said, but I really felt it. It was just a different.
Yeah,
it was cookies. It was a different time.
So in your career as an entertainer, specifically as an actor, don't you find that every little thing kind of adds a toolbox? A tool in your toolbox that you can use and do something else that could give you an edge over someone else you're auditioning for in the future.
If my students are listening right now, they're banging their heads against the wall because those are the exact words I use. I said, what I teach you is tools. I said, I have no agenda. I am no guru. I'm just a fat kid from New York who did really well because he wanted it, and what I teach you are tools in your toolbox, especially with improv, because one day you're going to come up against something and you'll go, oh, I know how to get out of that.
Right.
And it's right there. And it becomes... The word craft is important to me because the craft of acting, the craft of improv, and it really is. I tell the kids in class, and the kids, they're from 16 to 57, by the way. Yeah. I said, in class, I'm your mentor. But when we're performing, I'm in the entertainment business. And here I'm going to teach you some tricks I will never teach you in the classroom because we're here to do a show. Like for us, we're doing the PopCon virtual show, which we're really, really excited about. Yeah. So I had to learn a new way to teach online and then create this content that you guys are going to show the entire weekend. It's been fabulous. It's forced me to up my game because you get to do this for a while. You look at your students, you go, "Why the hell are you still with me after 5 years? I can't be that interesting." But I am, in the sense that they challenge me to get better every time. So I never stay the same. I even got physically better. I fixed my hip, had hip surgery last year, so I could ultimately come out to Indiana and live my years in a cornfield and do Children of the Corn 18 sometime.
I believe that every performance is also in some way a rehearsal, which is I think what you're saying. You from doing it, you learn. Steve Martin said in his book Born Standing Up, which I recommend to anybody, whether you're in comedy or not. He said if he knew that he was going to be on the Tonight Show on, say, Wednesday night, he would always book himself in a club Tuesday night because you don't want to go in cold. You want to stretch. You want to be on your game. And he's exactly right. Wouldn't you rather do? I'm going to make up some numbers here. Wouldn't you rather do 5 $200 performances a week than one $1,000 performance a week? Wouldn't you rather?
Absolutely. I'm a student of the game. I'd rather be in the gym,
Yes, in the gym. That's great.
In fact, the company that I'm kind of building now, and I had it under the same name in Los Angeles, is the Artist Gym. Is a place for artists and performers to work out. And that's what I've tried to create in Indiana. Look, most of these people, and I know they're listening, are not going to go to Los Angeles and LA and leave their families and have a career. Some of them are. And you can tell who you can. Rusty, this is it. It's either what you do or who you are. If it's what you do, you're going to have failures, you're going to have successes, but please, Indiana, go home to Tulsa, your parents miss you, okay? If this is who you are, welcome to your life. Ups, downs, highs, lows. You might have to work as a shoe salesman for a while, but you know what? You have a job, but that's not your career. See, that guy, that waiter, he defines himself. No, the waiter is your job. Your career, it's a performer, and your career isn't. Mine is an entertainer. If I'm not entertaining you, enlightening you, cajoling you, or annoying you, I have not done my business.
That's exactly right. You want to get an emotion. You want to drag an emotion out of a person. Now, the teacher's going to tell you what emotion, or the director is going to help you decide what emotion it should be. But yeah, if people love you or hate you or are annoyed by you, you're doing your job. If they don't know you, if they like, who was he? You kind of failed, I guess, didn't you?
I'm going to tell this story as clean as I can tell it.
Oh,
At one of the PopCons.
Hang on. Earmuffs, kids. Earmuffs.
No. At one of the PopCons a couple of years ago, we were doing a live show, and I had 10 people behind me. I'm hosting the show, and I turn to the audience out of the blue, and I go, "You want to see what love is?" And they go, "Yeah." And I turn to the group, unrehearsed. I go, "What am I?" And in unison, they all go, "You're a Richard." And the audience exploded with laughter, and I said, "That is love."
Yes, because Richard is long for Dick. Can I say that?
No, you can say that. It's your show. I can't get fired. I'm the guest. I'm Santa. It says it right there.
So let's go over some of the things you voice over for the Transformers. You were a voice for the Transformers.
Yeah, you know what? I got to be Skybite, which was he was somewhere between Tom Waits and Dr. Smith from Lost in Space. Is where I found the voice.
A little. Can I hear the voice? Is it a little affected?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit affected. I had the little mutants. I'm trying to do the best Megatron, but look what I have to work for me, And I
a little fumbling, like I can imagine hair going.
Always you ninny, and I work that way in a booth because I'm an actor first. I'm from the stage. That's where I came from. So I am, 300 pounds of wiggly in every direction. I'm 66, Rusty. Look how happy I am for an old fat guy.
Yeah, I'm over 65.
You know what? You're a man of vision, and I appreciate that about you.
So you're also okay. So let's go more. American Dreams, a little TV show, was very popular on NBC, another network, as we say.
It was huge because all the people I got to meet, who we were doing a show within a show. It was American Bandstand Philadelphia in 1963. Right. I met Usher, Beyonce, Jewel, people whose names I really don't even know. A lot of people with one name, oddly enough. And I played the fat Jackie Gleason, no facial hair, nothing, curmudgeon-y director of the show. And I got to speak to Dick Clark because he came to the first couple of shows. And I said, "Tell me about the directors. That's what I'm playing." He said, "I had 3 over 40 years." He said, who you're playing was basically one guy for 16 years. I went, that's all I need to know. He's sitting in his house. In that booth, he's home.
Man.
And they were, yeah, I had a couple of moments where I met icons like that. I didn't even work with them. I shook Ernie Borgnine's hand. I was doing the set of the single guy. And I just went up to him. I said, Mr. Borgnine, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have a career. And I really meant that. He was the first kind of heavy.
If you call me Ernie instead of Ernest, then you are friends. Is that people calling, Bob De Niro, Bob and I?
No, Mr. Borgnine. Oh, no. Mr. Borgnine.
Yeah.
No, my mother raised a very good child. You just respect even at this age, ma'am and sir, even when I open a door for somebody.
That's great. But yeah, yes. for the younger people out there, Dick Clark was America's Teenager, the New Year's Rockin' Eve. He had American Bandstand. He wielded a very, very powerful sword in entertainment for decades and decades. Am I right, Peter?
Absolutely. He was the only white show that were bringing on black artists at that time too.
Right.
He was bringing black artists into mainstream America at a time, and I'm telling you, 1963, I was there. 1964 was the Civil Rights Act. It wasn't a time of that, but he
just wanted to do a good show. He didn't care.
He just wanted music. He heard music.
It's a good show, and that's all that mattered. Well, Andrew Dice Clay, whom I actually kind of like as a performer, don't get me wrong, made the mistake of crossing Dick Clark when he hosted the MTV Awards. Dick Clark was producing that. He made him a promise, and then he went back and did his show. And Dick Clark said, "You'll never work in this town again." And you may laugh, but it took Andrew Dice Clay a long time to get a gig again, right?
Absolutely. I mean, almost a decade. But Clark was, and then he went on to produce so many things. I mean, there's no $25,000 pyramid without Dick Clark.
Right.
And all those game shows that he was hosting, and Dick Clark's Rockin' New York. Look, when I was a kid, it was Guy Lombardo. That's what my parents loved, with the bubbles and everything. And then Dick Clark became the New Year's guy, and now it's with the kid with the teeth on Regis and Kathy. I don't know. It's not him. It's another guy. That's him, and he's great. He has that young Clarkish kind of thing, but he's not Dick Clark. He's not sitting there with the microphone interviewing Martha Reeves and the Vandellas when nobody in New York knew who the hell Martha Reeves and the Vandellas was.
Right. Right. Dick Clark and people of his they took chances. People today seem to be they don't want to take chances. They want to be very safe, don't they?
Well, the whole industry is copycat at this point because no one wants to lay their own money. After a while, I would get called in for stuff because you could look at my resume and just look at the directors I worked with. That didn't mean I was good, but they go, well, shit, if they hired him. And that's really the way they think in the industry. They want to know that you will not cost them money on the set. This is the thing I tell my students all the time. If you know your lines, don't pump into the furniture like Spencer Tracy said. Don't be a Richard, okay? You will get them. And I could be a big Richard as the mayor. I like to call Carl the mayor, but that's a whole other story. He's the mayor of Broad Ripple. A lot of people don't know that he's the official mayor of Broad Ripple. But my job, Rusty, is to have a good. There he is. You know what?
The producer just got on.
It truly pains him to love me. It really does, and he does. He secretly does love me. I do know. I do know that. Yeah, I did a lot of. Yeah.
So you were talking about. We're excited about the con this year. It's going to be.
Yeah, I'm so looking.
It's a virtual con, and it's good. It's like we're reinventing the wheel. So we're forcing ourselves to do things we haven't done before, and we're going to learn.
Very true.
For instance, I am typically pretty good, I think, at doing a magic show for an audience. And over the years working in television, I've got pretty good at talking to a camera. But when you start to do a magic show for a camera, it's like driving on the wrong side of the road. You have to kind of retrain yourself, don't you?
Absolutely. And I just got to say this. I had many a fine Friday lunch at the Magic Castle.
Oh, good.
In Los Angeles with friends. I know Irma on a first-name basis.
Irma.
I know.
Look it up.
Absolutely. I was just there about a year ago. So, we have a lot to talk about. Richard Turner, the blind sleight of hand artist. He's a friend of a buddy of mine. Richard Turner, totally blind sleight of hand artist.
Yes.
You can look him up on YouTube under Penn and Teller. Wait, I'm contractually obligated to say PopCon a few more times in order for me to get paid. No, let's get back to that. My gang, Representing Time Improv, was supposed to perform at the event. And when it went down, the first thing I said to Carl is, what can we do? What can we do to help? And then I told them what we could do to help. I said, here's 3 ideas for panels. The improv guys would record the bits. We have improv apps where we get the suggestions. So it's live on tape. That's how every sitcom I've ever recorded done. And we can do some play readings for my acting group. So I said, we got product for you. And we're sending the first one over to him on Wednesday. We met last weekend. We recorded for 3 hours. I saw the first edit of it last night. It was good. We're re-editing it again on Wednesday. We're rehearsing again on Saturday. We're doing a comedy spoof of The Dating Game, but the 3 people on the panel are historical or fictional figures. So she has to figure out who in history and in fiction she can't see. She doesn't even know which improv players are playing and which person she has to pick. And the audience, again, as they watch, they can reveal and guess it.
Could be Joan of Arc, could be Lizzie Borden. We don't know.
Could be Popeye.
That's fantastic. That's a brilliant idea.
Could be Yoda. You know what I mean? It could be anything.
And also, kids out there, I think the harder you try to be funny, the less funny you are. You need to let the material you need to let it.
Oh my God!
Right?
Here's the lesson I learned from my coach Barbara Deutsch, and I've had some amazing coaches in my life. She used to say to us, "If you're interested, you're interesting.
Yes.
If you try and be interesting, they ain't interested."
Right.
And I watch students come in and try and impress me. I have credits. There's not a lot of schmucks like me in Indianapolis. So they try and come into my room and get something from me. No. You come to the room.
You're moving from New York, apparently to the North Pole, I'm guessing. I hear that.
Well,
to Indiana, we're going to have you as a Hoosier treasure here, Peter.
Mrs. Claus, I sealed affidavits. I can't say anything. I'm
non-disclosure. Right.
I promised the gang the rest of my life, literally, at the Christmas party. I said, here's the deal. I will give you the rest. I'm 66. I'm in Act 3 of my life. It's never been better. It's yours. Plain and simple. Yeah. Now, what are you putting into the pot for your life? I'm not saying match me in the room, but what are you doing that is that level? See, that's the only way I can teach him, Rusty. I got to be the first lemming off the cliff, and I got to, I'll hit that ground like Wile E. Coyote Super Genius did every time, that little puff of cloud, and guess what? I'll get off my Richard, get back up, and find something else to do again.
First boots on the ground.
Absolutely.
Last boots off the ground, yeah. Remember Gary Moore, I love reading Gary Moore. Sometimes there would be a line that was written for him, and he'd say, you know what, I think Carol Burnett could read this line, but give it to her. That is a real performer because he cares about the product, not about himself.
Well, he was in that era of host maestros, where the show wasn't about him. The show was about introducing Derwent Kirby and Carol Burnett. And if you watch the game shows, because Buzzer and all those channels play that old black and white stuff, first of all, he died of cancer. I kept saying he's smoking in every scene. Now that was cool. I learned how to handle a mic and drinking a cigarette because I wanted to be the fat Frank Sinatra at one time in my life. Yeah. But then I looked up and he said he died of cancer. I said, that's a whole other era that this generation doesn't know. I can sing you half the cigarette jingles of my childhood because they were that invasive at that time. So no, Gary Moore was one of those people like Mike Douglas in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's right.
Merv Griffin, to a bigger extent, because then he went on to create Wheel of Fortune and a billion other things in Jeopardy.
It's all about the guests.
It was all about the guests. And
so you were talking about your mentor said if you're interested, you're interesting. I think a corollary from Steve Martin, the guy I've never met that I'd love to. Steve Martin said the most important part of entertainment is sincerity. Once you learn to fake that,
you're home free.
You're home free. Dude, it has been a pleasure. You have a book. I'd like you to pimp your book. Please tell us about your book.
I have a book?
You have a book.
Oh, no, I haven't. We've just started writing it.
You just finished a book. I thought you wrote it, not read it.
No, we're still creating it. It's like, I've done this so long. Everybody says they got a book in them, but Jen Smith, who's a dear friend who used to work with PopCon, and she's an author, and she said, can I be your biographer? And we were in class one day, and I went, you're crapping me, right? You just don't. She said, no, really. I said, well, I'll start writing. She said, no. I want to get you in a room with a tape recorder because you tell the story is far more interesting than you writing the story.
And no stenographer can keep up with you, that's for sure.
No. But what I really want to do is, I have had this. I'm the guy in those movies. I'm that guy. So I'll tell you one other one, and then I'll end you with this story because you're going to love this. I have a whole B-movie career that we don't talk about at PopCon. One of my first film in California was for Roger Corman. It was Sorority House Massacre 2. And I wound up doing a character called Orville Ketchum that they repeated in another movie. He's sort of like Jason, but he's the good guy, and he doesn't die, and the girls keep trying to kill him in the bikinis and everything. So I had done at that time, I don't know, about 6 movies with the word bikini in the title. Bikini Drive-In, Bikini Traffic School, on Skinamax, as we used to call it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sitting there on the couch one night in Los Angeles. True story. My mom, if I'm lying, dropped the anvil on me. The cat and I are on the couch. How do we say this? We're both enjoying our catnip for the evening, watching a little TV.
Uh-huh.
One of those movies comes on like that. It was like Bikini Strip Mall or something like that. And I swear on my mother's eyeballs what I'm about to say is true. I turn to the cat and I go, at least I wasn't in that one. No. I'm no topic for it. It's not out of my mouth where I appear on the screen with guns in my hand going, all right, everybody freeze. And I'm like, screw me.
Yeah.
We're watching The Golden Girls. And I was in a movie I had forgotten about because...
Well, there was a reason you forgot about it.
Jim Wynorski and Fred Olen Ray, masters of the B movies. I did 23 films in my first 4 years in Los Angeles. These guerrilla filmmaking, indie filmmaking, but I cut my teeth. So when the Wachowski brothers, who are now the Wachowski sisters, which is really interesting, who did The Matrix, that's a whole other story, interviewed me for Bound, and where I played a bodyguard. They said, I know, and they said, we love you in B movies. We want your presence in the film. We want you not to say a word. We just want your presence. So I did a principal role in this. Jennifer Tilly and Joe Pantoliano. Do you remember?
We all remember Bound, yes.
I was John P. Ryan's bodyguard. I'm the silent, scary bodyguard that's always standing around them.
Great.
Because I did Sorority House Massacre.
Yes.
By the way.
They were worried you couldn't learn your lines.
At my age, forget about it. Hey, gang, you're listening to this. First of all, Rusty, great meeting. Love doing this.
Pleasure's mine, sincerely.
I'm always here. I know there's a cocktail in our future when I finally get to Indiana. But check out, gang, check out PopCon with all the great stuff they're doing. They're going to be releasing all the info in days. And by the way, tell your friends who don't live in Indiana that who always say, gee, that looks like a great event. I wish we could come. Guess what? You can come. Right. I have 2 kids from England working with my improv company this Saturday. Invite all your friends, and then here's Carl's phone number. Call him about my events.
Yeah. No, I got his private. Let's give him the private number.
I'll give him the just ask, right on the PopCon page, right? Ask for breakfast anytime. I'm always on that page. Support the guys. They're doing a great thing. And I promise you, it's all improvised. Except for the dating game, we're kind of setting up a couple of gags in there for everybody. But
I can't wait.
We look forward to being a part of this new event, this new Donald Fagen. What do you think? The new frontier? I think this is where we are right now.
That's it. We'll see what it's going to be. All right, dude.
All right, cool.
I will see you, but not soon enough. And to all of our PopCon peeps out there, until next time, live long and prosper.
Take care.